So getting this memorandum of understanding with private landowners so that our rangers can patrol, they can infringe, and therefore that is acting as probably one of the, I think, one of the best deterrents, because I think in the past people who disregarded the rules, I think they felt that they could do that with some impunity because who's going to catch me? Who's going to know? So if there's no deterrent, then, well, you know, the word gets around, this is a place to go, there's no one patrolling, people can get around. So even though we have ranger patrols, we have rangers on quad bikes, there's no way you could supply enough rangers in a council budget to really stay on top of a problem like this. So you have to really look for other ways. And this memorandum of understanding idea where rangers can legally go on land and can infringe, say, the trailer that's parked in a quarry or somewhere else, then that really has helped. And the flow-on effect from that is that the word then gets around. Now, people who really want to get around the rules, they'll become you know, a bit more sneaky about where they go, where they hide their trailer, all that kind of stuff. So it is always a bit of a chess game, but at least that has been a strategy that's worked for us. I suppose one of the things that's helped us most significantly has been the use of covert cameras. I think it's fair to say we've resisted the use of cameras for a while, thinking that maybe the technology wasn't quite there to get the good number plate recognition. But given that we weren't likely to get a great increase in ranger numbers, I think these covert cameras have had a good impact. Now, the idea is not to have them stolen, so otherwise they don't work. But we've had a couple go missing. But overall, over the last year, while we've had those covert cameras, that has really been very helpful for us. I understand that was from a Keep Australia Beautiful grant, and that has been an enormous help for us and a great help for the rangers to do their job. Because I think that that number plate recognition has been a big part of being able to find the people and then try and take them through a process. We all know that it isn't always about catching and infringing. So I think one of the issues that we've tried to focus on is the continuing education, and I know that a lot of that goes on. But unfortunately, the people that often will infringe in our areas are not people who are necessarily local, although many are. So we have, like you would have, a continuing problem with people who come from many miles away to come and use their off-road vehicles, quad bikes or their trail bikes, and that really does have a significant impact. The other way the rangers tried to work is working with the people who actually sell these goods. Now, not always very hard to do in terms of four-wheel drive, but I think in terms of the quad bikes and the trail bikes, our staff have been very, very proactive in trying to work with those those businesses that are retailing these products, because and I know that we've developed maps showing clearly where people can go, but as you know, that's not going to solve the problem, because people who want to comply will do it. People who feel they've got a God-given right, a bit like the right to bear arms in the States, I've got a God-given right to go on the beach, well, you know, they don't, and we just have to keep trying to keep up with that. I mentioned the state trail bike strategy before. I think this is a really crucial thing, and I know that many people in this group have been very involved with it. I know our rangers have been trying to keep involved and give a lot of feedback on that. I mean, it's just one of the realities of urbanisation, I suppose, for many of the coastal councils that have growing populations, is that people still want to have that outdoor experience. But unfortunately, when that outdoor experience impinges on other people or it destroys the natural environment, then it's a serious problem for us. But one of the things that we're still keen to follow up on is to really get that strategy through. Hopefully there will be some funding to go with it, and I would think that one of the actions we might consider, we're probably already doing this, but lobbying harder on that and trying to get some further attention on it. For us, the damage to the dunes is a very serious matter. when you're in a location like this, you become acutely aware how close our facilities are to the beach. And certainly we're going to hear later on about the initiative of the Parent to Naturalist Coast Climate Change Initiative. And I guess one of the other driving forces for us about trying to manage this problem is that we know that this particular section of the land is going to come in for a lot of impact, either from the storms, the higher winds, the erosions, and according to what the landforms are at particular areas of the coast, how vulnerable they're going to be to further inundation. And without the dunal system and without the vegetation to protect that dunal system, then land that is already going to be threatened, where we're going to have to make some major decisions about anyway, then that land is really going to be extremely vulnerable. And the issue that goes with that is that, again, not telling you anything you don't know, but one of the issues that I feel very concerned about is that as we lose shoreline, what we lose then is that public amenity. So that's why this issue of trying to control people, misusing the beach, misusing the vegetation is very serious for us, as I'm sure it is for you. So I guess the next phase for us is to really review a lot of the work that's already gone on. I'd like to think that we could have more ranger patrols. I know that there's been a lot of thought about the volunteer ranger program, and while that's worked very well for us, it has got some considerable occupational health and safety issues that councils have to consider very, very carefully. But I think what we need to continue to do is to make relationships with the people that live near those areas who really do want to try and preserve it, and not have them involved in any kind of vigilante type process, but a close partnership with the council. So in terms of the practical ways of trying to deal with this, the heavy brushing of the dunes, I would suggest, for us has been one of the most effective. Now that obviously comes with a cost because of the machinery involved, but when you weigh that up against the cost of what happens if you have to go back and repair that dunal system, then I think it's a cost that has to be done. The second thing, the use of the covert cameras. I can only recommend from our experience that that's a very good way to go, and if you are able to acquire those through whatever means, I think we've now had a bit of experience in the kinds of locations where they work and the kinds of value that they have. I'm not across the operational detail enough to give you that detail. Some of our staff are here, they'll be able to tell you more about that. And I know that our ranger staff, I think you already have a good relationship with them. I know that they're very, very happy to do that. The third area that I think is also important for us is trying to keep this issue before our whole council group, our elected member group and senior officers. Because unfortunately, when there's so many competing issues that councils are involved in, especially along this coastline, and particularly the councils that are dealing with growth, as we all are, because from wherever we started, the population has grown, and with the multitude of things that local governments have to do, it's very important for those of us who really do have a special, I suppose, relationship with this coastline and with the kind of things that need to happen. I think we have to be very smart about how we keep it to the forefront in terms of council budgeting. I'll let you know next year if we've been successful. But it is very easy for areas where there aren't as many people or where it's out of the line of sight to be dropped off because they're not seen as important. But as we know, these areas are critically important.